everyone. So we heard Jerome Powell. I'm assuming everyone's heard about Jerome Powell's speech yesterday on inflation. So I just want to go ahead and just talk about just a brief portion. So let's check this out. Fair use.
And so it makes sense, he says, to moderate the pace of rate increases. Moderating that pace could come as soon as December. But before you think the Fed chair is getting too dovish, he goes on to say rates have to rise to a sufficiently restrictive level. That's a phrase the Federal Reserve has used quite a bit, and he's uncertain about what that rate will be. But in any event, the ultimate level is probably higher than the 4.6% projected in the September Summary of Economic Projections from the Fed. The Fed is likely to hold policy at a restrictive rate, quote, for some time. History, he says, cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. Quote, we have more ground to cover. Another quote, we will stay the course till the job is done. Getting into the nitty-gritty, what you'll see in the rest of this speech is if he opens a little window for the doves to come in, he quickly closes it. October inflation, he says, is a welcome surprise to the downside. But hold on, because he says down months in inflation have often in the recent past been followed by renewed increases in inflation. And here's a new metric for the Fed chair. He says we need, quote, substantially more evidence to give comfort that inflation is indeed declining, and he has not seen clear progress yet on slowing inflation. The path ahead for inflation, he says, remains highly uncertain. He is skeptical about private sector forecasts that show inflation set to decline next year. He goes into detail on inflation. Goods price inflation should exert downward pressure.
Now, let me do this. If you notice, Wall Street rallied on yesterday. It rallied on yesterday of just any little hint, any possibility, okay, about inflation. We are not out of the woods yet. Again, you can have a few good months. I'm not opposed to it. You can have a few good months, and that's fine. But typically, it just doesn't last. Those few good months typically doesn't last. So we're not out of the woods yet. He even mentioned on yesterday how that housing inflation, they're expecting that to continue. So my question is, if people are having a hard time right now paying for their rent in 2022, if it continues in 2023, what exactly is going to happen then?
As markets turn around a bit, here's Jay Powell.
Particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. We currently estimate that 12-month PCE inflation through October ran at 6.0%. While the October inflation data received so far showed a welcome surprise to the downside, these are a single month's data, which followed upside surprises over the previous 2 months. As Figure 1 makes clear, down months in the data have often been followed by renewed increases.
Now, and that's the part right there. The Wall Street rally, I think it's temporary. We are not out of the woods yet. A lot of these people showing on these shows are billionaires, and they're what? Shorting the stock. So a lot of people are thinking, oh yeah, it's going to be, everything's good now. No, it's not. Down months followed by what? Increases in inflation. Again, look at the issue that we're facing right now with people, unbelievable, just trying to secure a place to live. People working, but guess what? Homeless. You have people working jobs. Some are even educated, and they go home to a car. So if you think about it, this right here, this jump in Wall Street, the green you see on the screen, it's temporary. I think that, I mean, it's a rally. It is not sustainable, in my opinion. It's not going to hold. And all these jobs that they're talking about, there's a job for everybody, so they say. But what kind of job is it? Can it pay a livable wage? So all I want to say is, don't be fooled by the green on the screen. Do not be fooled by the green on the screen. I think it's temporary. I do not believe this rally can hold. We already know the market is up and down. But inflation and housing, all these jobs, some people have 2 jobs and now living off credit cards. What's going to happen then when the credit cards are maxed out? All this $9 billion spent on Christmas shopping for the holiday? You do know that the fact that they spent $9 billion was reportedly spent, and I think that a lot of that's toward online shopping. Part of that is due to inflation. People are paying higher prices, so of course the number's going to be higher. That to me is not an interpretation that things are going to be good. And understand, they already said people are living off credit cards. So what happens, and I doubt the people they're referring to, they all have a black card. Maybe you have one, I don't. But they're living off credit cards. So what happens when the credit cards are maxed out? You and I both know a lot of those credit cards are not going to be paid. Some people are right now having their best Christmas. And I've heard this from quite a few people that I've known Caucasian. It's like, wow, oh yeah, I knew this was going to happen. So I'm like, wow, that's what people do. They'll charge up a big old Christmas. What the guy says it's going to be the last Christmas. Why is that? Because they can't afford to make it. So they use their credit cards, charge up all this stuff, and then file bankruptcy. So 2023, I think, is also going to be the year of the bankruptcy. For some people, well, they said Christmas missed us. No, some people right now, they're having one of their best Christmases ever. And they have no intentions of paying that debt. Some won't be able to. So this rally, I don't get all excited. It's temporary. This was yesterday, November 30th. So today's December 1st. We're going to see how long the rally holds. We're going to see how long that rally holds. As fast as it runs up, you already know it's like basketball. It'll drop right back down. So this here, he's just saying a moderate rate. Again, there's what? A long way to go. Inflation in housing. So yeah, people, don't let the green on the screen fool you. This rally is temporary. I saw what someone said, oh, we're in a bullish market. You think so? Think not. So because you see a few good months, don't go for the okie-doke. More than likely, we'll have an increase in inflation still. So it's like a yo-yo, up and down, up and down. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Be alert, be aware. The inflation, it's out there. And I'm telling you, I don't think personally you can have your opinion. It's not going away anytime soon. Simply Said here on YouTube. I'm out.